Today we're honored to have with us Mike Yeh, who is currently Vice President Corporate, External, and Legal Affairs for Microsoft. Can we start by asking you to describe a bit about what Microsoft does?
When I first started, we were very much an on-premise IT provider. And from a legal perspective, it's pretty straightforward, relatively routine IT procurement contracts. Over time, we moved into cloud services. And that was a pretty interesting change from a legal perspective as well, because suddenly you move from on-premise, buy once procurement contracts to a subscription model. And so figuring out what that looks like. And then I would say, as I look back on the last 2 years, the pivot to AI has also brought new change. Although the licensing and the business model hasn't changed, the entire industry is changing.
Now, until very recently, Mike, you were Deputy General Counsel Asia for the past several years. Can you please describe for us a little bit about your responsibilities and activities as Deputy General Counsel Asia?
I actually started in the role during the pandemic, which was fascinating. And so for the first year, I did the role remotely. And so I would say the first thing in terms of just navigating a new role and overseeing the business across Asia is figuring out, how do you learn the business? How do you make the connections, not just with your team here, but also with our business counterparts? And how do you do that remotely? And so that was a super interesting way to start. In some ways, I think it made some of the relationships I have with my team, but also with the business clients, even stronger.
But what is talent comprised of for you as the most important person in the region for Microsoft's legal team in hiring?
For me, the table stakes is they have to be a really good lawyer, right? Good legal judgment, good experiences, a calmness around being able to navigate the unknown or the crisis. The technology piece for me is so important right now. And so what I need right now when I think about lawyers in addition to the legal skills, I want someone who's willing to work with the technology, to use our Copilot offering, to figure out how do they do work differently, to build an AI agent that can potentially scale their work.
I'm sure there are many young lawyers who aspire to be like you. What sort of advice would you have for them?
Be open to doing new things, changing jobs. I think the principle that kind of guides all of that, though, is chase interesting work. Figure out what you want to do, what you're passionate about. Look for jobs that give you the ability to do that.